Hi there, this is Ben Wheeler with Ignition Sequence, and the fifth grade students in Ms. Anderson's class were asking me for some help telling stories that have a dialogue between multiple characters that might have a scene switch where the characters shouldn't talk at the same time, they should sort of take turns. So I'm going to talk about how to use Scratch to create conversations. So the first thing I want to do is just look at an example on Scratch. I'm on the Scratch website, and I'm going to search for a conversation. And one fun thing to do with Scratch is to search for things and see what's out there. And sometimes you can find things to copy by looking at the code. So here's something by the Scratch Ed team called Conversation. It's just a very simple conversation between two of the stock characters. One of them says something, the other one says something. And notice they're not talking at once. They're taking turns. Okay, let's create one of our own. So I'm going to click the Create button once I'm logged into Scratch. It's going to give me a blank project that's going to start with a cat. And the first thing I'm going to do, I don't want the cat. I want to do this with people. So the cat is selected here. I'm going to go to the Looks section, and I'm going to click Hide. I'm just going to hide that cat. Okay, let's introduce some characters that we actually want to tell a story about. I'm going to click on the New Sprite picture, this first icon down here that will choose sprites from the library. I'm clicking on that, and I'm going to pick one of these characters. I'm going to pick Avery. She's going to be one of the people who's having this conversation. Here's Avery. I'm also going to pick another one. Why don't we have Abby? So Avery and Abby are going to be having a discussion. And let's have this be about lying and telling the truth. So I'm going to start out by having them sort of standing next to each other. Let's put them in a background in a kind of school environment or a playground environment. So to get the background, I'm going to click down on the bottom left on this stage. We're going to look at the list of backdrops up here. So it just starts us out with a blank backdrop. Let's get a new one from the library. That's this first icon. We could also draw one or take a photo or upload a picture that we find online. I'm going to pick from Scratch's library by clicking this icon. Let's start on the playground. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, let's say someone was supposed to pick up somebody else's book bag. So Avery, I'm going to click on Avery. I'm going to click on her scripts. That's the things she does. She's going to say, hey, Abby. Oh, you know what? I'm going to zoom in on this so it's a little easier to see. Hey, Abby. Did you pick up my book bag like you promised? Why don't we shrink that down just a little bit so that you can see it all on one screen? Okay. So she's going to ask Abby that question. Abby's going to say, yeah, I tried, but Ms. Jones said I couldn't. She's not telling the truth. Avery's going to say, wait, I just talked to Ms. Jones. Are you telling me the truth? Let's have Abby kind of not know what to say. She's going to just say like ... the way people do in comics sometimes when they don't know what to say. Avery's going to say, I think you owe me an apology. Abby's going to say, I'm sorry, I lied to you. And then she's going to say, can I help you get it now? Maybe she'll also say like, can you forgive me? And Avery's going to say, yes, but please don't do that again. Okay. So they're having a kind of intense conversation. They work it out. Then maybe Avery will say, oh, yeah, sorry, did Abby say, can I help you get it now? Okay, so Avery's going to say yes. Then maybe they walk off. We'll switch the scene or something like that. Okay. So first things first, let's click the green flag and start the program. Nothing happens. So if you've used Scratch before, you know what's missing. I'm saying to do all these things, but I'm not saying when to do them. So I have to go to the events section up here. And I've seen a lot of people use when space key pressed to start the program. I really like to do when green flag clicked, because that's the first thing that's going to happen if any visitor comes to your program, is they're going to click the green flag. And if you need to hit the spacebar to make things happen, they might not know that. It might not be obvious. So I use the spacebar a lot when there's a game that needs something to happen, like you press space to jump. But when it's just a story, I'll use when green flag clicked as the main way to start the story. So I'm putting a when green flag clicked in for Avery, and I'm going to put one in for Abby as well. Now let's give it a try. Clicking the green flag. Okay, so you can see the problem right off the bat, right? You can't follow the conversation because everyone's saying things at once. It's just not going to work that way. So here's where my favorite block comes in. In the control section, the first block is the wait block. Wait 1 second, wait 2 seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out who's talking first, Avery or Abby. So Abby's saying, yeah, I tried, but Ms. Jones said I couldn't. She's not talking first. Avery is talking first. So Avery doesn't need to wait before she talks. She can just start saying her first thing. But Abby should wait before she talks. So she's going to wait for 2 seconds. So if that worked right, then Avery should say her first thing. And when she's done, Abby should say her first thing. Let's try that out. Avery's talking. Now Abby's talking. Now, we're not done yet because we haven't figured out what to do about the rest of their conversations. But we can just keep following that pattern. So once Abby says, yeah, I tried, but Ms. Jones said I couldn't, it's her turn to talk, and it's Avery's turn to wait. So I'm going to click back on Avery, and I move one of these wait 1 second after that first thing she says, because right now she's waiting for Abby to talk. Then Avery's going to have her turn and say, wait, I just talked to Ms. Jones. That's when Abby should be waiting. So do you see, it's sort of this almost like checkerboard pattern. Abby is going to wait, say, and wait. Avery is going to say, wait, and say. And it's just going to follow that kind of pattern. You just need to make sure that you're thinking about the whole timeline of like, okay, so how many seconds before Avery says, I think you owe me an apology? Well, it's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 8 seconds before she says, I think you owe me an apology. What about Abby? 2 seconds plus 2 seconds plus 2 seconds plus 2 seconds before she says, I'm sorry, I lied to you. So 8 seconds in, Avery's going to say, I think you owe me an apology. And Abby's already going to be saying, I'm sorry, I lied to you. That's not right. She needs to wait a little longer. So you need to sort of keep doing that math and figure out who needs to wait for whom. So I'm going to continue that pattern and put these wait blocks in. And let's try it now. Hey, Abby. Yeah, I tried. Wait, I just talked to Ms. Jones. I think you owe me an apology. I'm sorry I lied to you. Yes. Okay, that doesn't quite work. All right, so did you notice the bug there? Everything worked, except Abby said, I'm sorry I lied to you, and immediately Avery said, yes, but please don't do that again. So I think, looking back, I meant for Abby to say, I'm sorry I lied to you. Can I help you get it now? Can you forgive me? So she's immediately going to say that second thing, which means there's 4 seconds here that Avery needs to wait, not 2. So Avery's going to wait 4 seconds before she says, yes, but please don't do that again. Let's try it again. Part of what I love about Scratch is you run into these situations over and over where something's not working. You have the power to figure out why, to debug it, and figure out how to fix it just by trying different things. It might not work. Okay, things are good so far. Wait, I just talked to Ms. Jones. I think you owe me an apology. I'm sorry I lied to you. Can I help you get it now? Can you forgive me? Yes, but please don't do that again. Okay, sounds good.